Go ahead.
Our mission. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. Helping Parents Heal goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone regardless of religious or non-religious background and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at all Helping Parents Heal meetings is voluntary. All discussions that take place at affiliate-led meetings are confidential. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of Helping Parents Heal meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with our children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members, so we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here with us this evening.
Yes, and we're so thrilled to have Karen here. And I just want to quickly say that back when Helping Parents Heal started years and years ago, this is our 13th year, we had a group, an affiliate group in Toms River, New Jersey. And I would say that Karen was one of our first guest speakers at that group, which is just amazing to be able to have her here now. And she speaks all over the place, but more specifically, she's going to be speaking at the Omega Institute in New York coming up soon. And I know that she'll tell us a little bit more about everything else that she's doing, but I'm going to read her very short bio. And then I will turn it over to Karen. Karen Noé is a renowned psychic medium, spiritual counselor, and healer. She is the author of We Consciousness, Your Life After Their Death, Through the Eyes of Another, and the Angel Quest Oracle Deck. She is the founder of the Angel Quest Center in Waldwick, New Jersey, where she teaches classes, gives readings, and practices alternative healing. You can listen to Karen on the Angel Quest show on all podcast platforms. And to find out more about her, visit her website at www.karennoe.com. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming Karen Noé. Welcome, Karen. We're so happy you're here.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Now, I don't see me. All right. I'm blank. It's like a black screen. Am I doing something wrong?
That is strange. So go to the top right where it says view and click on speaker.
All right, now I see you, but it's not, okay, doesn't matter. I like to see your pretty face anyway.
Okay, how about click on gallery instead?
All right, it doesn't matter. Hi, everybody. How are you? I am Karen Noé. I am a psychic medium and author of 4 books now. I don't know. But this whole meeting is about you. It's not about me. That's my purpose, to empower you what I do. Today, I just came back from a wake, and I was telling them that it's fitting. A good friend of mine, Ro, she lost her son. And I just came back from her wake. And I'm telling you exactly what I told her, right from the heart. You know, what do you do? How do you heal? What do you do from here? You know, I love to give readings for people. That's wonderful. But more importantly is to teach you how to do what I do. You see, because you're deceased children, and I don't like to use the word deceased because they're not. They leave the physical body, but they're just a different form right now. They're trying to connect with you as much as you're trying to connect with them. So that's extremely important. And I was asking them, I was on this platform a few years ago, and I said, should I share the same information that I shared back then, or should I say something else? And she said, she thinks most of them are new people. So we'll just play it by year. How's that? All right. The most important thing I would teach you is to tell you how to connect with your children. As I said before, they're trying to connect with you as much as you're trying to connect with them. 3 very important ways that they're connecting with you. 1, they're giving you without a doubt signs. I call them without a doubt signs. We're going to be talking about that. Something that you know without a doubt it's them. So it's not just any bird in the sky. It's a bird that's pecking at your window or that's landing on you, something that normally wouldn't happen. And we'll go into more detail on that as well. And then if we can raise our vibration so it's more on par with the energy of who they are, then we're on the same frequency and we can hear them better. And we'll get into that as well. If we have time, I'd love to do a guided meditation. We only have an hour, so we'll see what we can do. And so you ready for this? I'd like to share a little thing called Life Continues, and it's from my book, Your Life After Their Death. You can find all the information about me on my website at KarenNoé.com. So if you would like to see more information, you could just go there. And as stated before, I'm going to be speaking at Omega, let's see, August 5th through 7th, and it's going to be called Wisdom Beyond the Veil. And there's 4 mediums there. So it's going to be an exciting weekend. But let's go with Life Continues. I'm going to read for you, to you, something that I wrote in the book. It's just a little poem, something that I've learned over the many years experience. Oh, I didn't even introduce myself and how I came about doing all that I do. People ask me if I've always been psychic, and the answer is yes, but not to the extent that I am now. When I was younger, my father used to take me to the racetrack, and I picked the winning horses for him. And now I'm an animal activist and I don't go to the track anymore, but things like that. My friends used to say that I am, I freaked them out. I would, know things that would happen before they did and so forth. But about 25 years ago, I was going through a very difficult time in my life. And I sat at the edge of my bed and I just yelled at God. I said, am I going to be okay? And with that, I saw a light that came towards me from the other side of the room. And as it was coming towards me, I said, if you're not of God, please leave. But the more I said that, the more it kept coming towards me and eventually enveloped me. And at that time, I heard an audible voice that said, Lucia Lucina, Bella Lucia Lucina. Are there any Italian listeners here? You raise your. So you know what that means. It means light, beautiful little light. And I've since learned it was St. Francis of Assisi, who's been guiding and protecting me ever since. Right after that experience, I started receiving messages from deceased loved ones, from the angels. And if you've read any of my books, you know my life story, but the most important part of my books are empowering you to do what I do. So if you follow me on Facebook, Karen Noé author, or on Instagram, you'll see it's empowering you, because I know you could do this. Everyone can connect with their loved ones. It's not just psychic mediums. You are all psychic. You are all mediums. You just have to learn how to do this. And I'm going to teach you that tonight. Okay. So let me read you very quickly something that I've learned over all the years, over 25 years experience of connecting with loved ones. It's called Life Continues. And I will send these as notes to Helping Parents Heal, and maybe they could forward it to you if you request it, if you would like copies of these notes that I'm sharing with you today. Okay. You may not see your loved ones, but they are able to see you. You may not hear their precious voices, but they are speaking to you in your thoughts all the time. You may long to know if they are okay, but there's no need to worry because they are in a state of total bliss. You may believe that you didn't have enough time to spend with them, but they can now be with you whenever they so desire. You may not realize when they're around you that they are sending you without a doubt signs all the time. You may be worried that they're still in pain, but they are in a place of total peace where suffering does not exist. You may not comprehend why everything happened the way it did, but they are able to see the broader perspective and understand it all perfectly. You may think that they left this earth way too soon, but they know it was their time to make the transition. You may feel guilty about certain things you did or didn't do to them, but they are able to see through your eyes and understand your actions completely with no judgment. You may be preoccupied with how they died, but they want you to remember how they lived. You may be hesitant about moving on with your life, but they want you to step forward and be happy again. You may believe that you'll never see them again, but you will join them many years from now when you leave your physical body. And you may feel that a part of you died after they made their transition. But in reality, life continues for the both of you. And that I know without a doubt. And my wish is for you to know it too. How many of you know this for a fact? How many of you have been receiving signs from your loved one? Almost all of you. Yes. So it would be great if we were in a live audience and I could see your faces. I like to pick up on energy, but see your pretty faces this way is just as good. So we'll first talk about how to raise our vibration so it's more on par with the energy of who they are. So what happens after we leave the physical body? Now we're in the physical body and our vibration is here. And if you're grieving, it's even lower, rightfully so, because we're grieving, right? So their vibration is here. They're more on par with the energy of God. They don't have the physical body, so they feel their connection to everyone and everything. And their vibration is a much higher level. So our vibration's here, our deceased loved one's vibration is here, and then the angels are up here as well. So if we're down here, we're grieving. And of course, we want to grieve. We don't want to just say that's not, that doesn't exist. Don't stuff it down. We have to acknowledge our grief. But that's why a friend of a friend of a friend will be receiving messages from your loved one and you are not, because they're not grieving as much as you are, if that makes sense, right? So I'm going to tell you ways to raise your vibration so it's more on par with their energy. I always use the analogy, it's like you're trying to tune into 3200 FM, but you're tuning into 1300 AM. You're just not going to hear them. You're not going to feel them, right? And many times when somebody first passes, they feel their loved ones. How many of you have felt your loved one when they first passed? Not many? Okay. Well, for the most part, they're very anxious when they first pass to let you know they're with you. And then as time moves on, they acclimate to the other side and they still connect. They still can connect. And I want you to say, give me a without a doubt sign. Let me know you're here, So definitely let them know and then be patient and wait. And the signs, the dreams, we're going to talk about it all. Hopefully we'll be able to have enough time to do all of that today. But let's talk about raising our vibration. The first thing we want to do is set the intention. When you set the intention of wanting to raise your vibration, then the universe works in ways to make that happen. You say, I want to connect. I want to raise my vibration. The universe sends them to you. The universe sends, if I could use the word God, universe, whatever word you want to call it, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. Tries to connect you to become more compassionate, try to see through other people's eyes. See what happens after we leave the physical body, we go through a life review where we're able to see and feel how we have affected each person through the other person's eyes. That you hear this from people who've had near-death experiences, that is those who have been declared clinically dead and then come back to life to talk about what they experienced, right? So in that, many people share that, and also through the readings that I have been given all these years, they talk about how they are able to see through the living person's eyes. And oftentimes they say they should have forgiven the other person, the living loved one, or they should have asked forgiveness for something that they did, or they should have treated themselves with the respect that they deserve. And now they say it's too late. But this is something that's so important. I'm telling you right here and now, Why do we have to wait until it's too late to see the bigger perspective and try to see through the other person's eyes? Why don't we do it right here and now? You're going to see this, and you're going to be going through this after you leave the physical body. So if you're able to see through each person's eyes, or at least try to, you may not agree with what they're doing or saying, but if you try to see through their eyes, why? You will be creating peace in your life right here and right now, and in their lives as well. And you don't have to wait until it's too late to do that. Okay. Okay, so practice forgiveness is another way of raising your vibration. I always use the analogy that Wayne Dyer used to say, it's not the snake bite that kills us, it's the venom that's left behind. A lot of people say, but surely I want to hold on to this resentment. I want to. Sure, I know, I understand if somebody did something wrong to you. But again, it's hurting you. It's lowering your vibration, so you're not able to connect with your deceased loved ones, and so forth. You're not giving in to them. I'm not saying to be in toxic relationships. I'm saying to let go, right? To forgive them for you. I hope that makes sense. Forgive them for you. Okay. Be more compassionate. Another way to do that, to raise your vibration, is to pray and meditate. Praying is talking to God and the angels, and meditating is listening. And in any relationship, you want to listen as well as speak. So I set aside time every day, and I'm not telling you to do this, but I do it because I need to connect with loved ones every day. And I get up at 4:45 every day, and I can see your faces. No way am I going to do that. And that's okay. I'm not expecting you to. But if even you could set aside 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, and focus on your breath, or sometimes I like to focus on a noise, like if their air conditioning is going on in the room, I just focus on the sound. And yes, your thoughts are going to go a mile a minute. You're going to be thinking, oh, what should I make for dinner, and so forth. It's okay. Our minds are programmed to think. But if you set aside time just to do that, say, with the intention of quieting my mind, surely helps. It raises your vibration. Okay. Okay. We talked about seeing through the eyes of another. We want to be grateful. The more things we're grateful for, the more things will come into our life for which to be grateful. Because the law of attraction states whatever we're thinking and feeling will create more in our lives, right? Because we're vibrational beings. Whatever we're thinking and feeling, we're like magnets. We're creating more of that, right? So if we're grateful, we're thankful for even the little things, for the bed that we slept in last night, if we have one, or for the hot water that we have, if we do have hot water, whatever it is. Count your blessings. No matter what's going on in your life, try to focus on if there are blessings. And we all have blessings, even though we've been through trauma and so forth, to focus on the blessings. It really does help. Okay. And the purpose is, if the purpose is to connect with your sweet children, that's a good reason to do that. Take it until you make it. That's what I say. Okay. So you want to reprogram your thinking, and, if you start thinking negative thoughts, you can't change every single thought in your mind, because that would be impossible to do. But what you can do is, how am I feeling right now? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling angry? So notice the thoughts that created that feeling. Are you feeling good? Then milk it for all it's worth. You're feeling good. Keep thinking more of those thoughts, and so forth. Several years ago, I went through a divorce, and I'm just going to briefly say this because I'm not focusing on any bad things, but during that time, I needed to raise my vibration in order to continue to give readings throughout the day. And during that time, I didn't know the different techniques that I know now, which are tapping, tapping on emotional. It's called the emotional freedom technique. And you tap on different points on your body, which moves the grief, which moves the anger, and so forth. I didn't know any of that back then. I do talk about all these techniques in the book, Your Life After Their Death. But at that time, I said, I just know I have to feel good, and I have to feel good right now in order to connect. So what I did every morning, I came into the office, and Googled on YouTube, and I Googled puppies, running around, or kittens, or babies laughing, or something that would make me feel good. And I have to tell you, at first, I'm looking online and I'm like, oh, I don't want to feel good. And within a few minutes of just watching the puppies running around or whatever it is, I uncrossed my arms and I felt better. And I was able to connect with everyone that came through during the daytime. And I'm sharing this so that you do something, whatever it is that makes you feel good. Everybody's different. Some people like to go for a walk. Some people like to listen to certain music. Some people like to pet their dogs and so forth. Whatever it is, do it. Do whatever it is that makes you feel good. And you will raise your vibration so that's more on par with the energy of who your child's energy is on right now. And you'll be able to hear them. Now, when I say hear them, I'm going to give you a secret. Most people expect to hear a voice from their loved one or to see an apparition of what they looked like in the physical body. And that may happen, but it's very rare. And when they do that, it takes a lot of their energy. Okay. So how they normally speak to us and how they speak to me throughout the day is they come to me as thoughts that just pop in my mind for no reason. They speak to us telepathically because they don't have a physical body. They're spirit now. So what you want to do is you're probably thinking of your loved one all the time. So notice when you're thinking of them. I'm going to tell you the difference between when they speak to you and when you're thinking of them. And there is a difference. When you're thinking of them, there's going to be a thought that created a thought that created a thought. In other words, you'll see a picture of them that triggered another thought or that triggered another thought. That's you. But if they're speaking to you, say you'd be driving and all of a sudden something they called you just pops in your head for no reason, or something they would have said or done. How many of you have had that experience? Good, good. So the more you acknowledge them, the more they will come to you because they'll say, you can hear me. So say, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And please keep coming. And another question people ask me all the time. I'm going to answer some of the questions people always ask me. Am I bothering them? Am I holding them down by asking them to come to me? No. Let's imagine it's reversed and you were on the other side and they were here. Would you be upset if they wanted to know if you were okay? Would you? No. And so it is with them. Okay, they do grow and they evolve, but they want you to know they're okay. All right. Another way they come to us. So notice the thoughts that just popped to you in your head for no reason. So for example, after my mom passed, I was driving and a thought just popped in my head. I was just focusing on the road that said, hi, sweetheart. I don't call myself sweetheart. She called me sweetheart. So I said, Mom, I love you. Thank you so much. See, most people will say, am I making this up because it's my own thoughts? Now, see, when you go to a medium and they say something, they acknowledge your childhood dog or something they called you, something, by the way, when you go to a medium, you do want something that stands out, that's something that your loved one knows and you and no one else. Okay, so make sure that comes through when you go to a medium. And if you have to wait a while to go to see someone, chances are there's a reason for that, that you have to wait and it's okay. Just be patient and wait. Just don't go, say you're on the boardwalk on the, down the shore and they have a psychic and you're expecting to connect with your deceased loved one. It may happen. It may not too. So I would definitely go upon the recommendation of somebody who has been there. Okay. Another way that they come to us, and another very common way, is they come to us in dreams. And there's two things that you really need to know, whether it's you or if it's a true visitation, or if it's one from your subconscious. I hope you're following this. So a dream from your subconscious, which is not them, it may be frightening, how they passed, they may be angry at you and so forth. That is not them. That's your subconscious trying to resolve issues about something you had with them, or their illness, or if they took their life or something like that. That's not them. I can assure you, they are truly in a place of complete bliss. When people come to see me and I'm trying to write everything on a piece of paper, there are no words to describe this bliss. Okay. So if you have a dream like that, it's a dream from your subconscious trying to resolve issues. A real visitation in a dream would feel like you have won the lottery. You will know without a doubt it's them. A lot of times when somebody's older, they like to come back as the age they want to be remembered as. And for whatever reason, older people like, in their 80s, 90s, they like to come back at like 35. I don't know why. That must be I don't know, the best years of their lives and so forth. Children grow on the other side. And whenever I say that, parents who've lost their children, but you never lose your children, I hate to use those words, but whose children made the transition out of their body. I'm trying to find a better way of using that terminology, but they're in a state of complete peace. Well, when they leave and they come in a dream, that's what we were talking. I'm sorry. They come in a dream, they grow. So they may be the age they would have been, but you will know it's them. However, if you would desire that they come back at the age that they passed as, they do with just a thought, because they are not their physical body. So with a thought, they could be whatever age they wish to be. They could be wherever they wish to be. I hope you're following me and I'm not going too fast. I'm trying to get everything in an hour. Does anybody have any questions? We could ask questions maybe at the end.
People are actually just talking about their own experiences with all of these different wonderful things that you're talking about. So everybody's saying that it's great. So let's go ahead and keep going. And then maybe questions.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the most common, what I call without a doubt signs. They're not just anything that happens that you say, like you see a cardinal, oh, that's my mom, that's my son. Not just any cardinal. It's something that stands out. So the first way they like to come to us as signs is they come to us as animals, whether it be a bird, a ladybug, a dragonfly, a butterfly, a deer, even a dog or a cat. Our loved ones use their energy to go inside of the animal to let us know they're with us, but they would do something the animal would not have done. How many of you have had this kind of sign? I love to see that. I love to see. Isn't it wonderful when you get that sign? Any type of sign like that. I like to share some of my experiences with signs. I hope you don't mind, just so that you understand. So our loved ones have personality. So if they were loud, when they come through, they're going to be loud in a dream, in signs, and so forth. If they were quiet, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to hear them. Okay, but they'll retain the same personality. So my friend Marion, she was loud and she always played practical jokes and so forth. I have been using this story for years now because it's one of my favorite stories, and I have had experience with signs, so many over the years, but this is one of the best. So after she made her transition, Marion, I wrote her a letter, and I would recommend that you write your loved ones a letter. And in the letter, you say everything you love about them and why. And I write about this in my book, Through the Eyes of Another, how to write these types of letters. Everything you love about them, and so forth. But at the end of the letter, I wrote, and you would write to your loved one, please give me a without a doubt sign to let me know you're aware of what I'm talking about. Okay, so I did that. 2 days later, I have letters to go into my mailbox, and I'm walking down my stairs. And at the bottom of the stairs in the parking lot there is a bird screaming at the top of its lungs. And I'm saying, I've never heard such a thing. Wah! Like that, and screaming. So I'm looking up at the tree, and I'm saying, Marion, is that you? Marion, I walked to the tree. The bird flew to the tree, I walked to the mailbox. I'm sorry. I walked to the mailbox. The bird flew from the tree to the mailbox, looked at me right in my eyes and screaming at me, "Wah!" like that. So I'm like, oh my God, Marion, I love you so much. Oh my God. I turn around and I see my neighbor and she thought I lost it, but I didn't care. And it was just an amazing feeling. 2 days later, I get an email from a mutual friend of Marion's and myself. And she said, you're not going to believe what Marion did to me. I said, I'll tell you what she did to you. What did she do? What you did to me? What did she do to you? And she said, oh my God, Karen, I just painted my kitchen. I opened the sliding glass door. A bird flew in the kitchen, pooped all over my walls, and then flew out. And she said she knew it was Marion. She said, thank you, Marion. Now that doesn't end. The story goes on and on. 2-3 years later, I'm doing appointments and there's a bird slamming its head on my window, slamming its head on my window, boom, boom, boom. Have any of you had this type of thing? Slamming its head, slamming its head. And I had no idea who it was. And this had been going on for 3 days. And all my clients are saying, what's going on? I said, I don't know. I took a video of it. I posted on Facebook. And then I see that same friend, Carol, who had the experience with the room, with the kitchen and all that. She had the same experience with a bird banging on her window. So I said, okay, something's going on with Marion's family. Contacted a family friend, and they said that her son was getting married in a destination wedding that week, and they were going to spread her ashes. So I said, oh, she wanted me to spread the message to their family. And as soon as I did, that stopped. So do you see what I mean? That's a without a doubt sign. That doesn't normally happen. Birds don't usually follow you. They usually run away from you. They don't peck at your window till you give a message to their family and so forth. Okay, so I'm not saying all messages are like that. I'm saying in the fashion of who they are. So Marion was loud, so she gave big messages. If your loved one was quiet, it may be more subtle. But just maybe if there's a cardinal in a tree staring at you, or a butterfly circles around you, and so forth. You'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. They also, they like to place objects in our path, whether it be coins or feathers, rocks. How many have had that? We got that too. That's beautiful. And I hope you're collecting them. So if you're finding coins or feathers, if you have coins, put them in a jar. If you have feathers, put them in a bag, and you'll notice how many you are getting. And every time you get it, say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the more you acknowledge it, the more they do it. Okay. Another way they come to us, they give our fragrances at the most. You'll be in the middle of nowhere and you'll smell their perfume or cigarette smoke or whatever it is that they smell like. How many have had that? Roses or something like that. These are, I love, see, all of you have had different types of signs. So that's wonderful. And some of you have a lot of different signs, which is great. That's awesome. They like to make the right songs come on at the right time. So how many have had that? So whether it be the words, I see some that have, oh, you're so lucky. Some of you have almost all of them. The songs with the right words, you'll turn on the radio and you're going through a difficult time. The words that you need to hear, you know it's from them. Or their favorite song. You walk into a mall and it's an old song that nobody listens to, or an unpopular song, and that song comes on. That's them speaking to you. Okay. They like to show us the same numbers over and over. 1111, 2222, their birth date, whatever is, how many? You again. Oh my goodness. So many. Okay. So pay attention. Sometimes the numbers that they give us are, I have been seeing 826, 826, 826. That was my address when I was growing up. So my mom comes through a lot. So notice the numbers and the patterns and so forth. Sometimes it's just 111 or to the point where you say, this means something. Every time I look at the clock, or I'm guided, look at the clock and it's 1111 or 2222 and so forth. Notice that. Or how about this? You're driving and a car cuts you off. Instead of getting angry, notice the license plate. It could be their name or their birth date. How many? Not as many, but notice now, instead of getting angry and somebody cut you off, not always is it somebody giving you a message, but many times it is. And you'll say, oh my gosh, how do they do that? And to be honest, I don't know how they do it, but they can do it. So pay attention to that too. And it's not any car on the street. It's something that you're guided to look at, or a billboard, like look up, and it's their name in huge letters or something like that. They're trying to get your attention. They want you to know that they are with you. So pay attention, okay? Let's see, they make you feel peaceful for no reason. You'll be feeling a little sad, and then all of a sudden a complete peace comes over you for no reason. Notice that. That is their way of saying, Mom, Dad, I'm with you. I am okay. Just notice that. It's their way of giving you a hug. And by the way, when I was talking about dreams before, I didn't mention that ask them to come to you in a dream and to wake you up after the dream so that you would remember it. Because many times they do come to us in dreams, but we don't remember it because we sleep the whole night and you don't remember it. Okay, so make sure to pay attention to that, to do that. And also what reminded me just now is if you feel them in a dream, without a doubt, that's them. A lot of times people say they hugged their loved one in a dream and they felt their hair, the hairy arms or their long hair, whatever it is, their skin. That is truly them. Okay. All right. This is one they love to do. They love to play with electricity. They make the lights go on and on, off for no reason. You'll be talking about them and the lights flicker, right? Or the TV goes on and off. Pay attention. Or they'll say, pay attention to me, pay attention. Or it's your birthday and they want you to know they're with you and the lights go on and off. How many have had this type of sign? If we can, in the end, I'd like to hear maybe one or two of your signs. I would love to hear from you. Just to hear you too. I know you want to hear what I'm saying, but I would love to hear from you as well. Okay. Also, something that most people don't realize, buzzing in your ears. When I started receiving messages at first from loved ones who, they're trying to come through, I would first hear bzzz, like a high frequency buzzing. I thought I had a problem with my ears. And then I would hear a message. When I say hear a message, it was a telepathic thought that just popped in my head for no reason. Okay. So that I would hear the buzz and then the thought and then the buzz and then the thought. And then I realized, oh, when they speak to us, sometimes they come to us with a buzzing sound. They speak to us on a higher frequency, if that makes sense. So pay attention to that as well. I mean, I could go on and on and on with these signs. How about the rainbows? The rainbows that they give us, the rainbows are just the best. They're letting us know they're with us. The rainbow follows the storm and all is well. So I'd love to take a few questions. And if we have a few more minutes, I will keep talking. But I'd like to hear some of your voices if that's possible, just to feel connected to you.
So I have a lot of people who would love to be able to speak, I think, but I just first want to tell everyone that it's nice to have this beautiful resume of all of the different ways that our kids are communicating with us. And I'm so glad that you also let people know that even though we don't remember it, our kids are with us in our dreams. We actually ourselves go over there. We spend time with them and then we forget it most of the time. But a lot of times we wake up feeling really good about the sleep that we've had. And this ringing in your ears, it's so funny because my ringing in my ears happens in every single one of these meetings because I know that there are so many kids trying to get messages through to me to say to their parents. But it's a wonderful thing to know that it's not that my hearing is going bad. It's because of the kids, because it only happens during the meetings. So anyway, I've had so many people identifying with the different signs that you've been talking about. And one of the moms, her name is Lisa, and I'm trying to find her here. She talked about a cardinal flying into her house and spending time with her, which is pretty amazing when you were talking about the bird and the mailbox.
Yes.
Let's see. There are also, I mean, I think that it's really important for everyone to remember too, that everyone that cuts you off is not necessarily just a mean-spirited person. It might be your child wanting to get you that message on a license plate. So, and that seems to happen very frequently, that when we do have these strange things happen, somebody doing a fishtail, it actually might just be because you're supposed to be seeing whatever is on that license plate. But yeah, I would love to get some questions here. There are just so many validations, so many people saying about things that you're talking about resonate with them. So why don't we just try to bring on, okay, so Megan has a question, but Megan, you need to put it in the chat box so that I can
Okay.
read.
Okay, so, if we can do a very brief meditation to connect with our loved ones, we could do that now.
Okay, that
Five,
sounds
5 minutes. And, usually I do this, it takes a lot more time, but we'll see what we can do. Let's try that, okay?
that sounds great.
Okay, so I want you all to get into a comfortable position and uncross your legs if you're sitting down and close your eyes. Okay, take a nice deep breath, hold it, and let it go like a sigh of relief. Good. Okay, do this one more time. Take a nice deep breath, hold it, and let it out like a sigh of relief. Excellent. Your body is relaxing further and further with each breath that you take. And as you inhale, you're breathing everything positive. And as you exhale, you're releasing everything you don't want. Take another deep breath and let it out like a sigh of relief. Okay, good. Now you're simply going to be still and listen. You're now ready to connect with your loved one who has left his or her physical body, and you want to ask him or her to come into the room with you right now and be patient and wait to feel their presence. And talk to your loved one and say anything you wish to say. They can hear you. Say it all right now in your thoughts. And if you have a question, ask it now and become aware of any thoughts that pop into your mind, impressions, pictures, smells, or feelings, or anything else that you receive now or even later on in the day. And ask your loved one to come to you in a dream and to wake you up afterwards so that you will remember it. And thank your loved one today and know that he or she will always be there for you. And tell your loved one whatever else you need to say at this time. At this point, you may say goodbye, knowing you will be able to connect with him or her whenever you want to from now on. You have just experienced the magnificent peace of your loved one. How wonderful it is to know that you are not alone. And when you're ready, take a nice deep breath and let it out like a sigh of relief. Focus on your body and the room you're in. And at your own pace, slowly open your eyes, feeling energized and refreshed, taking with you the wonderful peace you have just experienced from the heavens.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Karen. I do have some things that I would love to read to you from the chat box. First of all, Annette is saying that she had a whole conversation that should have taken 20 minutes, but only took a minute, took her breath away. Her son told her, "Mom, it's all about love. Remember that," which I think is just so true and so beautiful. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure that that's what you see as well. I have another one that I would like to ask as a question to you, because I think that this is interesting. And since it's so recent, Angela is saying, "My daughter had special needs and was nonverbal. She transitioned 2 weeks ago and has sent several signs you mentioned, but I don't know how to hear her since she never spoke to me in this life. Could you maybe address that for her?"
Right now, she's able to hear and speak and see and walk and everything. And not only that, she could fly. So right now, she'll be speaking to you the way you can hear. So to keep asking her the way you would ask anybody else. And she's now perfect and whole. And that I know for sure.
That's
You can say
beautiful.
you
And I just want to say that I've heard from other mediums that children with special needs here on Earth are the rock stars of the afterlife. They are the ones that are just, everyone is just so in awe of them and how they have chosen a path here on Earth that's very difficult while they're here, but they are some of the wisest and some of the most loved of every child, any child, and they're so well taken care of. And I don't know if you've heard the same thing, Karen, if you.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They came here, they chose, believe it or not. And people ask me, like, why would they choose that? But everybody learns a different thing. People who are here, such as your mom, what's the mom's name? Who
Uh,
wrote
and it's Angela, I believe.
Angela?
Yes.
So Angela, I mean, you were chosen. We're all moms and dads are chosen, but you also had a special purpose here too, you know, to learn love quickly and to care for someone and so forth. So yeah, they are the rock stars, absolutely. And so are the parents.
And Michelle is saying, "I was sad about my son while I was driving, and the car that cut me off had a big white heart on the bumper sticker."
There you
So
go.
obviously that's
That's
just
what I'm talking about.
telling her, "Hey, Mom, I'm here, so don't be sad." Let's see. Barbara's asking, "Is the white butterfly here right now, my Garth?" So while we're here on this meeting, I'm sure it is. I'm sure that Garth is coming to say hi. What do you think, Karen?
Of course, I'm sure all of your children are here right now. Without a doubt. I mean, there's someone here that has a dirt bike and I not quite understanding, you know, what
Um,
that,
Well,
Anyway, I could start doing readings, but this purpose, I'd love, once I do that, then it starts to go off in a different direction. I would love to empower people to do what I do. Is there a Jeffrey who passed?
a Jeffrey, let's see, can somebody put if they have a Jeffrey who passed in the chat box?
But it's getting very hot in here. So if that happens, then everybody's trying to talk. So let's concentrate on you, because you know what's important when you go to a medium, it's wonderful. You know, it's maybe an hour, whatever it is, and you get the messages and it confirms that they're with you. But what happens after you leave? What happens the next day, the next month, all the rest of your life? You really need these tools because your loved one is trying to come directly to you. Sure, they'd like to go to a medium. Absolutely. And I love doing it for you. I love it. But better yet, to learn how to do it yourself. So when you're home alone, you're receiving those messages. When you're driving to work and the car cuts you off and it's your loved one saying hello, you know it's them. When the cardinal is in the tree staring at you and so forth, you know it's them and so forth.
So Kim is saying, teach a man to fish with a
Yeah,
smiley.
good, exactly. Let me
Love
share
that.
one of my other without a doubt signs so you could understand the extent. One is quiet and one is my mom was quiet, you know, so she would never come in the fashion that Marion Rowe. Oops, I said her name, but everybody knows Marion's name. But my mom was very quiet. So after she passed, you know, she was a very giving person. She didn't like to borrow money from anybody and so forth. So when she was in hospice and it was Christmas Day, and she had 7 of us around her with chairs all around her. And she's in and out of consciousness, and she opens her eyes and she looks at the Christmas tree and she said, I didn't get anybody presents. And she looks at me and she counts everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She was actually able to count. And she whispers, she said, Karen, do you have 7 singles? I said, I didn't have 7 singles, but I asked people, you know, do you have some singles? And I was getting the singles. And she said, thank you, sweetheart. So she said, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you. And she's giving the money out. And she looked at me and she said, now, don't you worry, I'm going to pay you back. So I said, Mom, you really don't have to pay me back. She goes, no, I'm going to pay you back. I said, okay, Mom, wonderful. You can pay me back. Okay, sweetheart, I'm going to pay you back. Anyway, she passed January 3rd. And, you know, we went to a funeral and all of that. And then a week after that, I went to work. And as I drove to work, I opened the car door and there was a $1 bill by my car door. And I said, somebody dropped $1, you know, and I just picked it up and put it in my pocket. And I walked into my office and there was $1 there. And I said, okay, I'm dropping money. I forgot what my mom had said, right? So I said, okay, so I picked it up and I put it in my pocket. And I just went through the whole day. And then I came back out when the day was over, and I went back in my car. There's another $1. And I know I didn't drop another $1. And then I heard in a thought, and remember what I said about thoughts? Pay attention to your thoughts. Hi, sweetheart. I told you I would pay you back. And I said, telepathically, I said, Mom, you didn't have to pay me back, but thank you so much. I love you so much. And my mom has been giving me $1 bills all the time. My daughter recently had a baby. And when I was running to the hospital to go visit her, guess what was outside my door? $1 bill. And a friend of mine, right after my mom passed, actually the friend I went to her son's wake tonight. Wow, I hope she watches this. This is her story, Ro. And she did a shadow box. And in the shadow box, she put all pictures that I posted on Facebook of my mom. And she said, Karen, for whatever reason, I felt like I had to put $1 in there. And then I told her the story. So those are the types, see, that was typical mom fashion. So notice your child's personality, and that's the type of sign or dream or the way they're going to come to you. Whether it's this way, it's going to be very hard to hear, but you wouldn't want it any other way because either they were loud or they were quiet, if that makes sense. So you have to know the fashion that, exactly the way they were, they retain their personality. Hope that makes sense.
That's beautiful. And we do have a lot of people talking about the connection that they feel. We do have a question from one of the moms asking, why don't you ask what happens when the moms don't connect with their child? Not all of us feel that connection. And so I
Yeah,
know that you kind of went into raising your vibration, that there are a lot of different things that we can do to help with that, but maybe we could just briefly go over that again, because we want everyone on this meeting.
absolutely.
Signs.
First of all, I want you to ask your loved ones to give you a sign. And it's a difference between begging and thanking them. See, when you beg, it means you don't believe it's going to happen. So you're going to say to your child, thank you for coming to me in a dream tonight, or not tonight, because it might not be, he or she may not be available. They actually do things on the other side, but just say, thank you for coming to me in a dream and waking me up afterward. I appreciate it so much, and know it. And then you have to be patient and wait. And the sign or the dream or whatever will come when you least expect it. Now, when you raise your vibration, you'll pick up on the signs more quickly. Can I share a very quick story so you can understand what I'm talking about? We have 3 minutes. It'll be a fast story. A lot of these are stories. Remember before I said our vibrations here, especially when you're grieving, it's a little bit lower. Our loved ones here, and then the angels are here. So there was a particular time, there was one of my clients was treating everybody disrespectfully and all that. And then she started being disrespectful to me. And in any case, I was angry and I wasn't happy about it and so forth. Anyway, at that time, I was still able to connect with deceased loved ones, but I couldn't hear the angels, So I started yelling at the angels. So I said, angels, I know you could hear me, but I can't hear you. I know you could hear me, but I can't hear you. And with that, I was guided to look up at the sky, and there were clouds in the shape of an ear with a finger in it. And because I was so angry and I was ranting and raving, I couldn't even understand what that message was, right? A few minutes later, I'm walking down I'm walking home, and I started noticing the birds and the sounds, the beautiful songs of the birds. And I saw the beautiful flowers in my path, and I felt the love coming out of my house. And only then was I able to understand what the angels were trying to tell me. I couldn't hear them when I was ranting and raving, and I was angry, because angels are not angry. But as soon as I was able to see the beauty and the blessings all around me, I knew what that message was. I had my finger in my ear. I couldn't hear them. That blocked everything I was receiving. So do whatever it takes to raise your vibration. It's not being disrespectful to try to be happy, to do whatever it takes. Go for that walk. Listen to some music. Go to the beach, whatever it takes. Go on YouTube and Google puppies or whatever it is that makes you happy. Because I assure you, once you do that, your loved one's trying to talk to you as much as you're talking to them. And don't try too hard. Say thank you for, and be patient and wait. And it'll happen when you least expect it. I promise you.
That's beautiful. I have one more question, and I think it probably applies to a lot of people on here. And it's not just alcohol, but it's also drugs. One of our moms is asking if that would lower our vibrations. She has a feeling that she knows the answer. It is too easy to drink wine when she's sad. So would you say that helps or hinders the possibility of connecting with our kids? Maybe, I mean, obviously there's no judgment whatsoever, because I think that we do whatever we can to get through this difficult healing.
Absolutely. Whatever it takes to make you feel better. But actually could do both. It could help or hinder. You don't want to overdo it so that you still are aware of what's going on around you. But if you need to feel better, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't overdo it. Don't drink too much or do a lot of drugs and so forth. But if you need to sleep, I know from experience from those who've come to me, clients, that if they are taking sleeping pills to get through the night, it prevents them from receiving dreams, because you can't dream, you don't wake up after the dream and so forth. So it could do both, but I'm not saying don't ever drink again, and don't ever, I'm not saying that at all. If it helps, absolutely. Do whatever it takes to feel better.
That's beautifully said and exactly right. And I think that a lot of parents are very worried about not drinking anything, not taking any kind of sleeping pills to be able to connect with their kids, but do
Whatever
whatever.
it takes
makes
to feel
you-
better. And let me say something, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you know, everybody grieves in their own time. Some people take a longer amount of time, some people shorter. And nobody should judge anybody for grieving too long or too short because everybody's different. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That's important too.
But we're all in this together, and together we will heal, and we are simply walking each other home. So all of us understand, all of us have tried every single possible way to communicate with our kids. I feel very fortunate because Morgan is a really good communicator and he communicates with me in many different ways. And you guys will also be feeling all of these incredible ways that our kids communicate as you move forward on this journey. There's a lot of difficulty on this journey, but there's so much magic that happens. And one thing that I can say 100% sure is that we will no longer fear death. That is no fear whatsoever there, because we know what's on the other side. We know our kids are waiting for us, and we know it's beautiful over there. So in spite of the fact that this is not easy going through this together, Shannon is saying her son is Morgan. I love that. That gave me a little sign there. But going through this together makes it 10 times easier. And having people like Karen come on and explain how to recognize the signs and how to make this journey easier is really important to us. So thank you so much, Karen, for being here. And we will make this obviously available on YouTube so people can look at that, but also look at the upcoming events that you're going to be having at Omega Institute, which will be posted there as well. And then I thank all of you guys for being here. We're going to have, let's see, Chuck, what's Chuck's last name, from the Swedenborg Institute on Tuesday, and it's same time, but he is a Shining Light sibling, so he knows a lot about this journey as well. And I will go ahead and make sure everybody's unmuted so everyone gets to say thank you and good evening to you, Karen. So go ahead, everyone.
Yes,
Thank
thank you.
you.
And it's
Thank
tourist
you.
travel so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Karen.
Thank
Karen, that
you.
was beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
If you'd like to get in touch
Karen.
with me, come to my website. Yeah, could you mention that? Because I would love to hear from you.
Okay, so
thank
go
you.
to Karen's website. It's easy. It's www.karennoe.com, I believe. Is that right?
Hello, yes, yes.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a nice evening, everyone.
Thank you again.
We'll see you soon. And thanks so
Thank you.
much, Karen. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye
Good night,
now.
Elizabeth. Thank you.